Lesson 3-4, one-step addition and subtraction equation. So in this lesson, we're going to be reviewing the addition and subtraction properties of equality so that we can solve one-step equations. So a little bit about those properties of equality. The addition property of equality says for real numbers a, b, and c, if a is equal to b, then a plus c is going to equal to b plus c. And the subtraction property of equality says for real numbers a, b, and c, if a is equal to b, then a minus c is going to equal b minus c. So for all of these equations that we're going to be solving, you're going to use the inverse operations, which means use the opposite of what they're doing. So the opposite of subtraction is addition, and the opposite of addition is subtraction. And whatever you do on one side of the equal sign, you do on the other side, because that is actually the definition of equal. They're both sides the same. So if you change one side, you have to change the other side the exact same way. So let's look at our examples. Here we have $18.99 plus $5 plus G equal to $45. Here I want to combine like terms. So on this side I have $18.99 plus 5. That's going to give us $23.99 plus G is going to equal 45. Now the opposite of adding $23.99 is subtracting $23.99. So I'm going to do that on both sides. And we have 45 minus $23.99 gives us $21.01. So that's what G would equal. Next, here I have 7 equals x plus 4.5 minus 3 3/4. So if I want to have common denominators, this would be 4 2/4 minus 3 3/4. Now I'm going to put this in improper fraction to make it a little bit easier. So I have 8 and 9, so 9 halves. So if I multiply that by 2, so that's 18 fourths minus 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 fourths. And that's plus x is equal to 7. So 18 fourths minus 15 fourths is going to give us 3 fourths. So I have x minus 3 fourths is equal to 7. Now for this one, I'm going to rewrite 7 into fourths. So that's actually 28 over 4. Because if I did 28 divided by 4, I get 7. So right now I'm going to put this over here. So I have 28 fourths equaling x minus 3 fourths. Now the opposite of subtracting 3 fourths is adding 3 fourths. So if I add 3 fourths to both sides, I now have x equaling 28 plus 3 is 31 fourths. And I can't reduce it, so that would be my answer. Next, I have 12.65 plus y equals 19.22. The opposite of adding 12.65 is subtracting 12.65. So I'm going to do that on both sides. Here we're going to need to borrow. 12 minus 5 is 7. Borrow from 9. 11 minus 6 is 5. 8 minus 2 is 6. So we would have y equaling 6.57. Next, I need common denominators with 8. So this is really going to be 2/8. All I did was just multiply this by 2 halves, equaling m plus 3/8. Now the opposite of adding 3/8 is subtracting 3/8. So if I subtract 3/8 on both sides, I'm now left with m equaling a negative 1/8. Moving on to the next one, we have 156 plus w equals a negative 13.5. So I'm going to subtract 156 on both sides. So now, because the first number is negative and I'm subtracting a number, I'm really going to be adding them. So this would be a 5, be a 9, 6, 1, so a negative 169.5. Next I have 6 minus 2 1/4. So this is really 24/4. So I'm going to do 24/4 minus 9/4 equaling 2 2/4 would give us, this is up for 5/2. So if I multiply that by 2, that's going to be 10/4 plus b. So now if I combine like terms here, so I have 24 minus 9, that's going to give us 15/4. So I got 15/4 equaling 10/4 plus b. The opposite of adding 10/4 is subtracting 10/4. So b is going to equal 5/4. Moving on to the next one, the opposite of subtracting 90 is adding 90. So I do that on both sides. And y is going to equal 1,590.96. Next, I'm going to subtract 19 on both sides. And now I have negative v equaling, this would be 16. Now v is not by itself, so I got to divide by negative 1. And now I have v equaling a negative 16. Next, the opposite of subtracting 2.3 is adding 2.3. But because I have two fractions here, I'm going to put them both as decimals. So this is really w minus 2.3 equals a negative 1.4. Now I can add 2.3 to both sides. And we're going to have w equaling 2.3 minus 1.4. It's going to give us 0.9. Next, everything's in thirds, so 9 2/3 minus 4 1/3 is going to give us 5 1/3, equaling 8 minus 2 1/3. I would add 2 1/3 to both sides. And a is going to equal 5 plus 2 is 7, 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3. Next, we have 4 1/2 minus 3 3/4. Here I'm going to put this in improper fractions, so 8 9 9/2 times 2 is 18/4 minus 15/4. This is going to we have to add x to that, and that's going to equal 7. But I'm going to make that into fourths, so that was 28. 28/4. So right now I have 28/4 equaling x plus 3/4. Need to subtract 3/4 on both sides. X is now going to equal 25/4. Here I'm going to multiply this by 2/2 here, so now I have x equaling, and put this in, so this would be 2 5/6. This should be a minus, equaling 1 2/6. And that's going to give us, so I'm going to add 2 5/6 to both sides. X is going to equal 3 7/6. But I have to rewrite this. This is really 3 plus 1 1/6, which will give us 4 1/6. Next here, I p by itself, so I'm going to add 9 to both sides. And now I have 21 equals negative p. To get p by itself, I divide by negative 1. P is going to equal negative 21. This next one, 9 1/5 minus 1/5 is 9, equals m minus 6.6. The opposite of subtracting is adding, so I add 6.6 to both sides. Now I'm left with m is equal to 15.6. And our last one, to get a by itself, I'm going to add a to both sides. So now I have a minus 3.5 equaling 8. Then I'm going to add 3.5 to both sides. And I'm left with a equaling 11.5. So that is our lesson on one-step addition and subtraction equations.